Hello everyone, it's Noel and we're back with another real-time paints where we try to paint something special every Wednesday. So anyway, I have a picture here that I want to attempt to replicate. It is this really gorgeous cloudy sunrise picture. I don't think I'm going to do the bottom, but overall I really like the look of this picture and I'm going to be using gouache today. So I have already picked out my colors, and this is from the Reeves set that I've been using. So it's not like artist quality, but I feel like it's good enough. So this is the set I used for the Blue Morpho butterfly that I did last week. So the colors that I'm going to be using are peach, I'm going to be using lemon yellow, as well as medium yellow, some orange, blue lake, cobalt blue, and crimson. I might pick other colors depending on my needs, but for the most part this is what I'm going to start with. So, got my palette here, I have my clean water, I have my pipette water, my dirty water, my other clean water. I think we're good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mixing the color for the sky here, and of course this reference photo is in the description box, as it always is. So I'm going to start mixing the background color, and I am going to really water down the cobalt blue to use for the blue part of the sky. So we're going to get that in our pan here. We're just going to take a little bit at a time. A little dab will do ya. How has everybody been? I feel like it's been forever. Only because I actually did not, while I recorded a video, or not recorded, but I uploaded the Blue Morpho butterfly, I did it the week before. So it's been a little while. So how's everyone doing? I hope you're doing good. I am too, thanks for asking. Oh, you know what? I should have brought out some white and some black. I'm actually going to do that too, because we need to get those range of values in. So I'm going to pull those out. Alright. Okay, going to get that white so we can really dilute this cobalt blue. Nope, that's black. Nope, that's Prussian blue actually. Where is the white? I am so prepared today. Wait, there we go. So, how have you been doing with your resolutions? I know I have still been kind of at with mine. The sketchbook one is probably the hardest one for me to adhere to. I don't know why that is, but it just is. Okay, that's looking like a good combination here. I got a little bit of overlap in the next pan, but that's okay. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this color. So I am going to sweep this all over, because in my head what I'm thinking is if I do the sky a little bit more transparent and diluted, I can add the clouds with a little bit less dilution, because that's how gouache works. I don't know, in my head. I am going to use this one. I'm going to use my little tiny brush. Well, my medium-sized brush. My broken brush. I might, you know what? Maybe I'll put just a little bit of water on the paper with the big brush. The big boy. Alright. Here we go. Just to get this started, you know. My only concern is with, I'll show you. Getting down to the bottom of the picture here. You see that yellow? I'm just afraid that I might mix the blue and the yellow and make green, and I don't want to do that. I'm hoping that I don't do that, but we'll see. I have to be super careful. Alright, so that's good. I'm going to put this cobalt blue white mixture on now. Let's see how that works for me. Unfortunately, I have like a little bubble at the top of my page because It won't lay flat for me. My journal. I actually did end up buying a new journal that should be coming in the mail soon. And I also bought, mainly what I wanted to buy was a way to store my Artisol tablet when I'm not using it. Because right now, unfortunately, it's sitting on my bed. And that's not good. It's getting dust on it and stuff. So I bought a little tablet holder for that. Alright, we have a good little wash going on here. Looks really nice. Just kind of make sure everything's covered evenly. Let that sit for a couple seconds there. Let me try and readjust this piece of paper. I never know how to lay this flat, because as soon as you put water on it, it wants to pop up. Alright, how flat can we get this? Nope, it doesn't want to. Maybe I could hold it down. See, I used to have a binder clip, but now I needed like a big binder clip. Binder clips are really nice. I don't think I have one big enough. I just have little rinky-dink ones. That might be my next buy. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add another layer. Yes, I'm gonna try and add another layer. Still a little bit damp, but we'll see how this works. Because I do want it a little bit more opaque up at the top here. There we go. How's that looking? It's a little streaky. I have been watching some videos about gouache, just to learn more about gouache, because I always like to, you know, along with these real-time paint videos, I also like to learn about my art supplies. Not on camera, obviously. So I was looking up some other videos about gouache and what it is and how to use it. And if I remember to, let me write that down. I will put down the video below that I watched. Do I have, I think, oh nope, there's my post-its. Okay, I believe it was Mini Small's channel. I'm gonna just write that down here. I think it's Mini Small. Okay, so reference Gouache 101. There we go. That's on the laptop now. I always like to refer to you guys to sources that I use because I feel like sharing is caring. Alright, so this is starting to get a little bit more opaque. However, it's not as dark as I'd like it to be. I might have used a little too much white. So I might have to go in here and just mix a little bit more cobalt blue into it. But this also has to dry for a little bit too. And we'll see how opaque that becomes when we get there. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry for a couple of minutes and I will see you guys soon. So I did end up mixing a little bit more cobalt blue into my palette here. Just a little bit, a twinge. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding that to the top third here, just to get that little bit of a darker tone up here. And this gouache dries pretty quickly, so that's really nice. So we're just adding that up here. And trying to transition on the way down. How's that looking? It's a little streaky. In that video that I'm linking you guys to, I'm pretty sure she said that she used Reeves, and she said it was a little bit inferior to say like Winsor and Newton gouache. But if you're just a learner like me and you just want to try the stuff out, you know, it's okay to buy not so great. Not so great supplies at first, until you decide if you like them, or if, you know, stuff like that. Which is what I do. because I never know if I'm gonna like a supply. I don't want to, you know, drop major dime on something and then find I don't like it. I say that, and yet here I bought 2 sets of markers and a tablet. But I actually do love, I love working with markers, actually. Yesterday, and that's what this tape is from, actually. The tape is from a thing that you're going to see in March, so be on the lookout, because I have a big project in March that I'm really excited about, and I hope you guys are too. So if you want to see what's going on in March, you need to subscribe so you don't miss it. Okay? And I don't know if I have a notification bell or whatever, or I'm not really sure how the notification system works for smaller YouTubers. But yeah, if there's a bell or something, or if you don't want to miss my videos, just, you know, get notified or whatever, I don't know. Or if you don't like seeing my face, I'm sorry. Alright, so this is drying. Again, I'm going to have to hit pause here so that this can dry, because I don't want to layer like clouds on top of this while it's wet, because it will just go everywhere. Alright, so I will see you guys in just a minute. Alright, so the bottom of this is pretty dry, so I feel pretty confident about laying the next couple of colors of the sky here. And according to our image, that would be kind of this yellowy area here. So I'm a little scared because I really don't want it to mix green. I mean, a little bit's fine, but I really want that yellow to pop. So I'm taking my lemon yellow and I'm going to put it in a different section of my thing here. Oh, we don't want that much because I don't really know how much I'm going to be using. I'm going to dilute it just a little bit. Maybe I will put a little bit more in there. Just a little bit. Because I'm the type who really doesn't like being wasteful. Not at all. I need to get different water. Because this water is now tainted. Put in some clean water. It's still a little blue, but it should be okay. Alright, so let's mix this yellow up. I might put a little bit of that peach in there. I might mix it in a different pan, actually, because this is very yellow. This is very, very yellow. Okay, so peach, where are you? Right here. Alright, I'm gonna put peaches in its own pan for now. And I'm just gonna add a little bit. Actually, let's do it in another pan. Well, there we go. Maybe add a little bit of water to that. That's about the color I'm going for. Is kind of this peachy yellowy color. A bright peachy yellowy color. I do like to color mix colors. Can be a really fun part just in and of itself. Or, you know, seeing how colors mix on the paper. Alright, maybe a little bit more yellow. Let's put a little bit more in there. Alright, I don't know how this is gonna look, but we're gonna find out. I might need a little bit more, but we'll work with this for now. Woo! I'm scared. Alright, so we're taking the big one, medium-sized brush, and we're gonna just put it all across here. I am getting a little bit of mixing, but it's not too bad. Ooh, I need to mix more. How's that look? Not too terrible. I do want it to be a lot brighter though. So maybe I need it to be a little bit more opaque. See, this is the thing about gouache. I don't know really what I'm doing. but that's why I like doing these videos, because we can learn together. I say that in every video. Let's learn together. It's just so bright. Like, look how bright that looks. It's gorgeous. And see, that's the kind of painting that I strive to do. Like this kind of brightly colored. It's gorgeous. Oh, you know what? Maybe I could add a little bit of white to this. Maybe we should do that. Let's do that. Maybe that'll help make this brighter and poppier. Go! There we are. There we go. Sometimes that's the key. Add some white. And sometimes I forget that I even have white, that you can use white. I'm so focused on mixing other colors together, I forget that white is an option. Just getting that off my brush here. There we go. That looks a little bit more what I was going for. I might add a little bit more. There we go. That's nice. And that looks a little bit more opaque too. So let's go in with that medium-sized brush and we'll try again. Because I really want that color to be as opaque, at least in like general areas. I want it to be pretty opaque. But I want it to kind of blend a little bit so we don't have this harshness here. So we'll have to work that out. And it's okay if we don't, because we'll just lay clouds on top of it anyway. And I'm gonna move it down just a little. Because my focus is more on the sky part. I'm not that focused on the bottom part, because I just really want to focus more on practicing these clouds. I feel like clouds are some of the most fun things to paint. They're not quite easy, at least in my opinion. I mean, if you find clouds easy to paint, congratulations. So I'm gonna move a little bit of this combination up just a little. And unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit of green, which I didn't want, but you know. Okay. Pretty happy with that. It's not as bright, but I think I can pull that brightness out when I start working on the clouds. I just want to use up the rest of this stuff. So I'm going to lay that here. And again, we're going to have to pause here so we can let this dry so we can start laying those clouds. It's going to get a little crazy, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, so this is slightly damp, but I think we can work with it. So what I'm going to do for these clouds here is I want to work from back to front. So I want to layer on the darker colors first. See, I don't know if this is even how you work with gouache, but this is kind of the process I have going in my head. So the darker part of the clouds are kind of a pale purple. I didn't want to use purple. I wanted to mix my own. So I'm going to take my blue lake, if I can find it. Where are you? Right here. And blue lake is kind of it's kind of a greeny blue, but it's also kind of gray. So I wanted to use a little bit of that right here. And I also want to use, see, it's like a weird combination. I can't really describe it. I'm also going to use crimson because it is a twinge of pink. Alright, and we're just going to mix those and see what kind of color we get. And then I'll probably mix, you know, white in too. I might need a little bit more crimson. Okay, we need more crimson. Ooh, set you down. Okay. Let's go. There we go. That'll do her. There we are. Now it's purple. But we do need some white. And we need some water because this is very chunky, very thick. Like a little bit of water. Don't want a whole lot of water because I'm not really going for a watercolor effect for the clouds. I want them to be a little bit thicker so that they stand out a little bit more from the background. I'm gonna add the water now. There we go. Added a couple drops. I really like using the dropper for water. That way it's a little bit easier to control. Okay, this looks nice. Just making sure that all of it is consistent throughout my mix here. That way we don't have weird streaks of blue here and weird streaks of blue there. Alright, I think that's good. So now this is going to be the interesting part, is trying to make these fluffy. I don't really know. I'm just going to try to like place, I might just go crazy. I don't really have any particular thought process in mind here. Maybe our clouds are blowing in some direction. I really like the effect that a more dry brush gives. It's unfortunate that there's so much up here. My brush wasn't that dry. Okay. We'll put a couple more clouds down here in this area. I'm sure some people are cringing right now watching me do this. Noel, what are you doing? That's not how you use gouache. That's not how you paint, Noel. That's not how life works. This is a little bit more purple than I anticipated, actually. This is going to be interesting. Alright. There. You know, but I claim to know that I'm not knowing what I'm doing, so at least I know. I'm thinking perhaps I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing that peach color. So this is drying, which is nice about gouache because it dries so quickly. But I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some, let's see, some peach down. Come on, peach. There we go. Maybe get a little bit of orange in a separate. You know what? Let's not do orange just yet. Let's just focus on peach. Let's not do too much though, because I overmixed the purple and I ended up with all that waste. Okay. So I have this peach color. Let's put a little bit of white in there just to give... Oh, that's not white. Just to give it a little bit more to play with. Come on, white. There you go. My fear is that I'm going to run out of white and black in this set. I'll have to buy more, which isn't a bad thing. There we go. Right, let's play with this. Let's see what craziness we can get with this. And we'll have to go over this several times, I'm sure, to get the opacity that I am looking for. Just cleaning my brush off. There we go. So I may need to mix this peachy color a couple of times. Ooh, uh-oh. I don't want to mix purple in with that peach, so I am cleaning my brush after each application, but there is going to be that slight transfer of purple onto my brush. And that's okay, because I feel like gouache is going to be very, oh, what's the, not, I want to say easy to work with, but I'm trying to think, forgiving, that's what I'm saying, forgiving. Pretty forgiving as far as laying down and placement, because you can just build it up as you need to. Alright, get the rest of this peach on here. Maybe have a little stray peach areas. Definitely gonna need to make more peach though. Alright, let's mix up some more peach. That peach and white combo, because we do want that to be a little bit more opaque. We don't want the purple to be the only thing showing. I really only wanted a little bit showing of that purple. So I'm gonna put some of that down. Where's my white? Right here. Okay. A little bit of white. And we mix, mix, mix. Oh, with a little bit of water. A little bit. Let's do a little bit. There we go. Oh, my tummy's growling. That must mean it might be snack time. Just about. Alright. I'm going to add a little bit more white. Really do want to build up those lighter peach tones and then work my way down to the darker ones. Alright. Ooh, there we go. And this is a lot of a thicker consistency, so I'm hoping that that will help cover cover up a lot of that purple. All right. So we're gonna go back in again. And it's okay if some areas are a little bit more transparent, but for the most part, we really want those clouds to stand out. And of course, when you lay something on wet, it's always going to dry a little slightly different than you would think. Alright. And try to work your brush in a couple of different directions so you get that texture difference. How's that looking? That looks neat. My water is like a pale lavender right now. A pale lavender gray color. Sometimes I like the water that I end up getting when I paint. It's always, I love when I paint with metallics and the water's all metallic-y and swirly and absolutely gorgeous. Add a little bit more up here. Don't want that much purple showing, but I do want some purple showing. I don't know if my camera, not my camera, I don't know if my microphone can pick up the noises of my stomach gurgling. I had my smoothie this morning that I always try to have. Not all the time, but lately I've been trying to have a smoothie in the morning. I used to have smoothies all the time, and then I kind of fell out of it. But I like that they're quick and simple. They taste good. Except when it's cold outside, then they are a little bit less appetizing. Oop, hold on. But the one thing I usually try to have in the morning is a cup of coffee. Love coffee. Do you have a beverage you like to drink in the morning? Is there like a beverage that you absolutely have to start your day with, or any food that you have to start your day with? Maybe you don't start your day with food. Maybe you're one of those people who doesn't eat breakfast in the morning. See, I can't do that personally. I have to eat in the morning. Or I get kind of lightheaded and get a stomach ache. Which, you know, makes sense. Alright. So we're building up that peach color. But since this is I'm actually gonna let this sit for just a little bit, because it is quite wet, and that more thick peach color needs to set a little bit more before I can mix more colors. Also, I'm gonna have a snack, so I will see you back when we come back. Alright, so this is it's still a little bit tacky, but I think we can work with it. So what I want to do now is start getting more of that peach again, but I'm not going to be adding white this time. I might add some orange later, but right now I just want to work with the peach tone on its own, straight from the bottle. So no mixing, basically. So I'm gonna start adding that in areas where I want it more opaque. So mainly in the middle of the clouds, and then kind of feathering off here and there. That way we can build some texture, which is nice. We like texture. Kind of work your brush in and out and a little bit crazy. Use the texture of the paper to your advantage. How we looking? That looks pretty cool. Nice. Do want a little bit more in this area too. It's really easy to neglect other areas, small areas, when they need some help too. I really like the buildability of the gouache. I think that's really fun. Because sometimes with watercolor, you know, you just can't build as much. Or you can, but then you run the risk of your colors rubbing off, which is so annoying. You have to be a bit more methodical with your layering when you work with watercolor. But with this, I feel like it's a little bit more straightforward. There we go. Get some of those fun texture strokes in there. Don't be afraid to experiment. Even if in the end it doesn't look anything like you pictured in your head, or like your subject matter, or your reference material, just don't be afraid. It's always a learning experience. Okay, how is that looking? Let's start to build more of that peach in with some, let's try it with some yellow first. No, I want my orange. Where's my orange? Right here. So peach and orange. Come on. There you go. I might be running out of peach soon. Nah, these are still working pretty good for me. Ooh, that is orange. Use a little bit at first. How about a little drop of water? Just to get things started. Okay, so that deepened it a little bit. I might add a little bit more orange. Actually, no, let's work with this first. Then we can see if we want to add more orange. So let's work with this. All right, how does that look? Ooh, that is really orange. Maybe I'll try to use this a little bit more sparingly. Because it doesn't really... It just looks quite obviously different. And I kind of don't want that. I wanted a bit more of a smoother transition between that and the peach, but... Woo! I might layer more peach on top, actually. Now that I see how crazy this is. But that's alright. See, now we know. That purple is just really... I mean, I don't mind that it's still coming through, but it's really, really in there. Alright. Some other textury bits there. Okay. I am going to add more peach on top of that orange because that was a little bit more strikingly orange than I anticipated. But I'll keep it in the same pan. That way I can get a little bit of transition there between the two colors. Mixing. Let me place it more on the outer side. There we go. Okay. I'm always checking in the monitor because sometimes it's really hard to see when I'm looking. What was that? Strange noises down here. But like I said, it's sometimes hard to see like straight on. That's why when you work on a piece, you're supposed to move back away from your piece. Get a little bit of a different perspective. That's also why it's recommended that if you do work on line art, for instance, to like flip your image. That way you can see the small errors or proportion things, problems like that. That way you can just kind of see stuff like that that you wouldn't normally see. I don't know. How's this working? Sometimes I'll be working and I don't know if the image is going the way I'm wanting. And then sometimes it ends up being, you know, in the end, the way I wanted it to be. There we go. Alright, that's starting to look more like clouds. Alright, let's see what else we need to add. I need to kind of want to add some darker orange spots. You see those darker orange areas? There's a couple of them. So in this area they have a little bit of a darker orange. But it looks like it's mostly concentrated in areas where the light is, the sun is definitely more prominent. So I'm gonna just add orange in the same peach pan. Just, why not, you know? Why not? And I'm going to water this one down. Do a little bit of mixing in here. That is quite orange. So I'm going to use this quite sparingly. So only in small little bits and bursts. I'm actually going to use a drier brush. So I'm going to dry my brush on my towel here and only pick up a little bit of that orange. Because I do want that in my image, but I don't want it to be like the most prominent color. So we're gonna add it very sparingly. Making sure that the brush is dry. I'm just gonna add it in some bottom areas of these clouds, maybe a little bit in the middle, if I can get that to get in there. There we go. Just want a little bit of that color. Don't want it to be overpowering the rest of the image. Put some in here. Okay. Nice. Maybe we'll put some on some outside clouds over here. There we go. Just to give it a little touch. Give it a little bit something else. Alright, so now what we need to do is figure out where our sun is. Figure out where that sun is and try to make it... Ooh, I just kind of touched my chin here. Touched my lipstick. This is very red lipstick. Don't want it to get everywhere. Alright, so why don't we, while I figure this out, why don't we play with this lemon yellow? Maybe the sun is hiding back there and we need it to pop out a little bit. So we want that lemon yellow. Lemon yellow with some white. Where is my white? There you are. Come on. Don't be shy. And a little bit of water, just a little, because we want this color to be pretty opaque. Might add a little bit more white. I want this to be quite pale because I want it to look bright. I want it to be a lot brighter than the rest of the image. Come on. Don't be shy. A little bit more water. There we go. Mix that in there. There we go. That's looking better. But still want it to be more pale. So a little more white. Come on. Like I said, I'll probably end up having to buy more white gouache at some point. These little baby tubes don't quite have a lot in them. Alright. That's about as comfortable as I am wasting my white, so I think I'm going to try to start figuring out where I want this to lay. Because in this image, at least, do you see where I'm talking about? In this area down here, they have it kind of peeking on the sides of the clouds. I'm going to try to mimic that. My brush needs to be a little bit drier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get that really dry. Because I still want that texture in the cloud area. So the assumption is that the sun is behind this cloud area and it is bursting forth. So we'll add to the tops of this area and also as well as the bottom of some of this. Okay. Ooh, not too opaque though. Still want a little bit of transparency. looks pretty cool. I always get somewhat surprised. Because I never know. Like, looking down here, this just looks like a big mess, but like looking at the monitor, it actually looks like a sky. Alright, we're gonna let that play in there. Maybe down here a little bit too, because it's... My assumption is that the sun is somewhere back here. It's somewhere in there. Somewhere behind this cloud. This cloud is not letting up. It's hiding that sun. Okay, just getting my brush cleaned off. Going back in. And I do still want to add kind of the bottom area. It's a little bit more purple. Do you see what I mean? Down here. Down here in this area. I don't want to add that landscape because I was focusing more on cloud techniques today. Alright. Still want to play with that yellow. Looks really cool. Maybe down here a little bit too. This really is a lot of fun. I love playing around with brushes and things like that. And just like dabbing and creating texture. I think creating texture is like some of the most satisfying brush work that you can do. I loved when Bob Ross would just like, I think it was his square 1-inch brush, and he would just like, ooh, he would just like, the way he would tap it on his paper, oh, so satisfying. I do recommend watching Bob Ross, okay? You have to watch him. You just have to. I remember watching him on cable years and years and years ago. When I was little. And I loved it. That looks neat. The other thing I used to watch when I was little, the other kind of learning, drawing type of thing was Pappyland, I believe it was called. It was Pappyland. And Pappy was a character in Pappyland, and I remember the part where he would actually sit down and draw. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And then he also in the credits, they showed you all the pictures that children had sent in for the show, and I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Of course, I never did that. I am blending a little bit out of these harsher yellow areas that I laid. They are a little bit harsh. We want fluffy clouds. We don't want harsh clouds. So I'm just blurring these kind of harsher areas a little bit. Come on. My brush is just slightly damp. Slightly damp. I do want to keep some texture, but I don't want it everywhere, you know? Okay. How's that looking? Looks pretty cool. It's not as like bright and vibrant as this picture, but that's why we're doing this. We're learning. Okay. So I want to attempt to put in this purpley kind of area. I'm gonna take a little bit of the purple we made earlier, but I want to mainly use crimson at the bottom. Just a little bit though. A little bit of crimson. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much we end up using. Some of that purpley color. Oh, we're definitely gonna have to use white. Because we don't want to lay that down. Yeah, let's put white in its own little cage. There. With some water. Always good to add a little bit of water to help things along. Might need more white though. Oh my goodness, so this was random. Has nothing to do with art, it has more to do with like my own personal life, but I love coffee, okay? I love coffee so much. I love going out and getting coffee. I love to meet people for coffee. I just love it. I love making coffee. I love talking about coffee. But oh my goodness gracious, a new coffee shop opened up near me and I have yet to go there. But I am so excited. So excited. Yeah, that was my little bit. I'm just excited to try this coffee shop out. Because it's literally, it's in like the next town over. So I'm excited at the prospect of seeing how they are. The only thing that I'm worried about is they opened up, the same town also has another coffee shop that I frequented somewhat, and by frequented I mean visited once a year. But my only concern is that they're going to be competing businesses now. And actually, honestly, the first coffee shop that I'm talking about, I actually don't like their coffee as much because it does tend to be on the more bitter side. I definitely like a more mellow coffee. I really need more of this crimson in here. Here, I'll put some more in there. Here we go. How's that looking? I think we can try to play with this. Let's go ahead and try to play with this. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. And I'm going to work from the bottom up. Just to see how this is working. How is this going to work here? Alright, so that's a little bit more opaque than I wanted. So we're going to water that piece down. I'm going to water that down a lot. My water's getting kind of dirty. I need to change that. Because I want a nice transition between these two colors. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my brush, gonna go up. Ooh, it's not quite dry up there. Ooh, what was that? That was my computer. Let's just work across. There we go. Push it down a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this water. It's too dirty. My dirty, dirty water. Clean the bowl out just a little bit. Ooh. There we go. Alright, now clean water goes in the bowl. Alright, we're back in business. Because I want to just fuzz this purple out. But maybe, yeah, I kind of like that it's like feathering up. That's okay. I will allow that. But just make sure it's not too, I don't want a harsh line down there. There we go. So I'm kind of circling my brush around a little bit. Except now it looks a little patchy. But that's okay. We'll just try to add more of that color in. There we go. When in doubt, blur it out. How's that look? Alright, that's still a little bit more opaque than I want. I'm gonna try to get some of this up here maybe. It's the beauty of watercoloring. Or gouaching, I guess, in this instant. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave that there. What I am gonna do though is add some white. I think what I want to do now is add white to this purple color and then just kind of add it in some areas just to kind of push those back. But I will do another pan. Let's do another pan. Let's do it in this pan. There we go. Because I want the clouds to have a little bit more dimension, because right now they kind of look a little flat to me. So I want them to look like they are, you know, vapory. Need some water. Come on. There we go. Maybe a little bit darker. Actually, no, let's try this out. Brush needs to be a little bit drier, but we can work with that. Let's see, what areas do I want to darken a little? Or actually let's do a little bit over here too. That's not really getting dark. That looks like I'm creating like negative space. Let me fuzz that out a little bit more. Because it looks like now it looks like part of the sky. That doesn't look too bad. Even though it's like almost a completely different color. Interesting. That kind of looks cool. See, don't you like when stuff like that happens? You don't expect something to happen. I like that, because now that helps break up that cloud a little bit more. So why don't we do that in some other areas too? It's probably different, like more on screen, because the lighter colors are probably really similar. Alright, I'm not gonna overuse this too much, because I don't want it to look too obvious. But this cloud down here needs to be broken up a lot. So I'm just gonna pick an area. Ooh, you know what? We'll go a little bit with this cloud because it is in a different area. It's in the yellow area of the picture, so maybe we should add a little bit of yellow on top of that. See how that works. There. See, now we muddied that color, because yellow and purple are complementary. So when you mix them together, they create like a gray color. They like cancel each other out. A little twinge of color theory. But I still do want to darken some areas, because I feel like there needs to be like a little bit of a push back in some of the clouds. But how do I want to do this? You know what? Here, take more of this. Okay. But I want to add it on a dry brush. There, that's more of what I'm looking for. Because I want it to look like some of the clouds are like pushed forward, but some of them are, you know, back a little bit more. I want to create dimension. So by using a drier brush and just a little bit of that paint, I can achieve that. Don't be afraid of your picture. Just go for it. Just do it. Just do it. Okay, but I'm trying not to go too overboard, you know? Nice. It looks pretty cool. I don't know how much more I'm going to work on this. I want to add a little bit of like shadowy areas to the bottoms of some of these clouds up here. That looks so cool. Don't you just love when you dive head into something and then kind of, you never know how it's going to turn out for you. And then in the end, you prevail. That's a great feeling. Okay, maybe a little bit over here. Looking pretty cool. All right, we want to do some to the bottom too. So let's start that. But only a little bit. We don't want to go too crazy. So Valentine's Day is coming up, guys. I'm still deciding what kind of a Valentine's Day project I want to do for you. I'm still unsure. I'm on the fence, so just be on the lookout in February. February, oh my goodness. By the time this comes out, because I like to do my real-time paints not on Wednesdays because they're like an hour long half the time. They do take quite a while to upload to YouTube. So I do them on not Wednesdays. Typically I do them on Mondays or Tuesdays. But yeah, when this comes out, it'll be the end of January. And then the start of my favorite month. Okay, that's kind of a lie. It's kind of a tie between February, okay? February and September. September, obviously, because it's pumpkin spice latte month, so. Ooh, there we go. Alright, I want to add just a little bit more. A little bit more. How do we look? I think that looks cool. What I am going to do, though, because that crimson area dried on me, I'm going to blur these harsher edges out. Okay. Because the sky does not have harsh lines, alright? Everything in nature is pretty blended for the most part. So we don't want really harsh lines in our sky here. Unless, of course, you are going for that, which by all means, do your thing. But for me and my style of painting, if you can even call it that, I like everything to be fuzzy. I like everything to just do what it would naturally do in nature. Okay. Alright, so I'm not quite done. I still want to get that really bright yellow. Alright? I want it, I need it, and I'm gonna get it. So we're gonna add a little bit more white to our dried up section of yellow here. A little bit of water. Okay? I want that brightness. Okay? And then we're gonna get it. Gotta get a grip on my palette here. So I'm going hard. And see, that's what I love about gouache. I hate acrylic because it does dry so quickly and it's like impossible to work with once it's dry. But I'm loving this gouache because you can just reactivate it. That's awesome. I'm sure, now quote me if I'm wrong, I don't work with gouache much, but if I were to let this dry and put water back on, pretty sure they'd still be pretty workable. And that's the same with some watercolors that accidentally dried up in your palette paint thing. You can just add a little bit of water. Of course the texture is not going to be the same, you know, but at least you can still get a little bit of use out of it. Ink wash, not so much. At least with India, like black India ink. I don't know how it works with other inks, but that is really hard to work with. Okay. I don't know. Is that bright enough for me? Is that bright enough? Let's try it and see. Let's try it. Because I want some of this brightness. I guess it'll work. Because I really wanted it to be like popping, like wow. Like that's the area that your eyes would be drawn to if you were to look at this painting. Like, whoa, look at that. The sun must be back there because look at all that that brightness in that area. Alright, we're getting somewhere. I guess that'll work for me if it works for you. Always check your drawing. I think it looks pretty cool. Gonna put some up here because it's bouncing off the bottoms of the clouds up here a little bit. Really push it in there, get some texture going. What this artist did though, their paint looks a little bit more deliberate, like their brush strokes, you can really tell. Which is nifty. If that's the style you want, then by all means. Me on the other hand, I don't like my paintings to look like paintings. I know that's pretty much impossible. But and it's also because, you know, when you see paintings, you're usually so far away from them. They look real. But once you like zoom in on them, you can tell they're paintings. Okay. I mean, I'm going to add a little bit to the bottom as well. And then I think I'm going to be done with that. It's crazy. We had so much fun today. Well, I had fun. I hope you had fun. That's my intention, is that we have fun together. How does that look? That looks beautiful, if I do say so myself. Alright, so I'm just gonna clean my brush off here. I think I can honestly say that I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Pretty happy. You know, it just, there's not a whole lot more I want to do, can do. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign it here for you. So let's take the tape off. It's not quite dry, but that's okay. Shouldn't matter too much. Very slowly. There we are. Oh, got a little bit of curl there. All right, everyone. Time to sign the image. We used gouache today. Ooh, this pen's a little drippy. So what I did was tried to refill some of my pens because they dried out so quickly for some reason. So I tried using India ink to refill them. A little messy. But anyway, we're gonna sign down here. Alright, I'm not gonna date it. I'll date it when we're off camera. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you like seeing these art tutorials and other art related videos, I would totally appreciate if you would subscribe and help support my channel and the arts. And remember to draw what you love and love what you draw.